so much to talk about. Mm, 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 mm. What a good time to be a 2K player. Going live. Just let them know that we're live. And then I'll go into my live stream joint right here. Make sure that's on. And we are ready to rock and roll and talk some more about even more stuff that we done found out. What up, No Cap, Fear God, Starfish, Housey? What's good? Hella high IQ. Bloom Z, King Melly, blessings upon blessings. Appreciate y'all being here, man. On your way in, please hit that like button. Frank Daniel, what's the word? What up? What up? JB, I can't wait to play 2K26. Is what No Cap said. What up, Billy T? Hanzo, Coach Z in the building. Again, Coach Z, I appreciate you sending that to me. It started me down a rabbit hole. You saw you can green for catching a rebound. It's not necessarily green, but if you time your joint right. Shy in the building. What up, man? Officially no RNG and shooting. The first time that we'll get a pure green window. I just dropped a video on all this stuff, and we got even more for this live stream. So instead of making another video, I said, let me just go live and see what the homies know. Got that work done. I see. Yes, indeed. I'm actually excited for this 2K. I'm trying to curb my excitement, especially with that 100% pure green window for the first time in NBA 2K history. Now, it's been said, and we're going to review this stuff. It's been said that we've had pure green windows in the past, and Mike Wing even said it. Yes, you have a pure green window, but it wasn't 100% pure like it is supposed to be in NBA 2K26, which we'll learn about during this live stream. But Mike Wang made the middle of the green window pure. The green window has slightly early or there has slight edges. So you get slightly early or slightly late, and those played a part with RNG in the past, even though the middle make was pure. Should have told us about that a long time ago, huh, Mike? But it comes out now as they're trying to market for the new game. They have to go back on some of the stuff they said in the past. This is where 2K shines. 2K is better at marketing the game than they are at developing the game. Salute to 2K, because some of the stuff they're talking about sounds like great implementations. Will they be able to execute? Mud Dog, what up, man? You say AC, the hardest working man in show business. You stupid, man. That was funny. Another one. What up, Rad? What's good, Rad? Lucky, green or miss. Feeling like Moses Jamil. I'm not getting my hopes too high. Tay2 Gon said, I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. Don't want to get hopes up. They might patch it. That's another thing that we got to contend with. Folks are not fully understanding what a pure green window means on NBA 2K26. They don't know yet. I don't know. I'm uncertain of what 2K is going to do with that green window, but usually a pure green window means a smaller green window. Although it's static, it's going to be smaller, meaning that you have to hit the lab. You have to learn your shot timing. 2K is not going to hold your hands as you're, trying to take your shot. They're not going to be there with the training wheels no more. It's on you, practice and repetition to hit your shots. Learn your jump shot, learn your timing. Daniel Barry, what up? What up, big fella? Are we going back to 2K23 movement? We got a lot to talk about. We're going to go over some of the things that you guys haven't seen yet. Maybe some of you haven't seen yet. I just made a video with the Q&As, everything Mike Wang has answered, but he answered even more stuff that I ended up finding after I made the video. Mola Jean with a $4.99 super chat says, starting this stream off right. I was at a dental appointment listening in. Rebound timing is weird to me. And Ali, you pack those up. Rebound timing, a lot of people are talking about the rebound timing. It was just so unnecessary. Why did the 2K dev team even consider putting rebound timing into the game? It wasn't going to be received well. But it doesn't hurt nobody. And Dimework talked about this. I saw a post from Dimework saying people be complaining about everything because rebound timing doesn't hurt or help anybody for the most part. If you're a rebounder, you're not thinking about the timing on your rebounds. You know how to do this already. Chosen said, I'm a swing. Red said, I'm curious how defense goes against this pure green window. Does this mean defense is cooked when we know our shot? Able to make contested reds based on pure green window. Pure green window does not necessarily mean that your green window is not going to dynamically change, similar to layups and dunks. As they said, Mike Wayne confirms, which we'll review in this live stream as well. He confirmed that the green windows are going to be dynamic based on contests. So you'll have you'll see that green window shrink even smaller than it'll naturally be, dependent upon the contests. He answered that question a second ago. Again, we're going to review all of this. I got all the stuff lined up. I just want to make sure. I think we're going to stay on this full screen. He said, "Don't work be at 2K head." They just wanted to say, hey, we added a new feature. Right. Facts. Yeah. With that rebounding. Rebound always been in the game, is basically just giving feedback on good timing. That's what it's doing. It's giving feedback on good timing. That's exactly what up, Bill Howell. Was good, man. But that's exactly what it's doing. Let's get to the first one, because the one that I found most interesting, Duck Meter, is going to suck again. I have mixed feelings about that as well, Goofy. That's his name. I'm not calling him Goofy. That's what his name says, Goofy. But I have mixed feelings on that as well, because they're talking about better contests for centers, and centers are going to feel, your players are going to feel a center's presence in the paint. Considering how many dunks we got taken out of in NBA 2K25, and also considering how much they're putting into layup animations in NBA 2K26, I imagine people are going to be frustrated driving into the paint. Who knows? Because we don't know where they're going to place those sliders for success, conversion, things like that. Should I get mad if someone outgreen my great timing on rebound? You never uses the dunk meter. Y'all crazy. Damn near every dunk I take was with the dunk meter. Damn near every single dunk. I've gotten so accustomed to the dunk meter that now it feels weird pressing square to drive in. Mumblefact says, City, are we cooked or nah? Now, to keep it a buck with y'all, everything sounds really good. But this is the thing, y'all. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. Matter of fact, we're gonna keep it 1,000 in this stream. The reason why 2K knows how to market to you guys and knows exactly what to say to make you feel good about your purchase of NBA 2K26 is because at the end of every courtside report in NBA 2K25, they sent out community surveys. And in those surveys, they asked you what you thought about gameplay, what were your complaints, what were your frustrations. So they got a bunch of feedback from the 2K community sharing with these community surveys, so they know exactly what to say to you in order to address your concerns about gameplay in 2K25 when you're thinking about purchasing NBA 2K26. That's to keep it all the way 1,000 with you. Now, 2K runs the risk of, losing integrity, losing trust from the player base if they do not execute the things that they say they're going to implement. Period. But the difference here this time, because I've been down this road so many times, as I'm gathering this information, I'm filing it all away properly. This way is, made easy to quickly reference. So when they don't execute, I can drop information about it, saying they told us they were going to offer us this, and this is what we got. I tried to do that with NBA 2K25, even leading up to NBA 2K26. But, this coming year, I intend for it to be even better because I'm getting better at my craft. So, hopefully we'll be here for it if and when they do not execute the things that they're marketing to us and they're telling us that we're expected to receive. Jamaican, Wagwan. All 2K got to do is bring back badge diversity with everything. Badge diversity kind of helped us strategically place badges on our players, and oftentimes would change the way our players maneuver on the court, which was dope. It was like a strategy thing. I need that demigod build next year. Make tall guards great again, is what Lucky said. Everything they said is how 2K25 should have been. Welcome to 2.0. Now, if they execute everything that they say they're going to execute, I'd count it as better than 2.0. If they fail to execute, we're going to know. Stop trying to finesse us. We're going to know. Ridiculous, what's good, man? Shout out to Ridiculous. Let me get Ridiculous a mod in here because I just actually saved one of your snippets, which we're going to review in this live stream. I just saved one of your snippets. Let me just get to the live stream so I can add you as a mod. I'm protecting my paint, no easy-ish. 109 in the chat. Shout out to Ridiculous. Let me get Ridiculous a mod in here because I just actually salute. Ridiculous. Let me add you. Add as a mod, standard, safe. Mola Jean said $4.99 with a $4.99 super chat. Said we're the goofs that's gonna be beta testers for 2K in a couple weeks. So if some stuff don't work like they want, they'll patch it before September. Oh man, that's what they're saying. That people are paying full price to be full-time beta testers for 2K. All right, man. So one of the first things that I wanted to pull up, which let me get the image up first. Mike confirms. We'll pull this image up first. Browse. Give me 1 second while I pull these images up. This is the NBA 2K26. NBA 2K26 stuff. Yep. And then the Q&A. And then one of the first things that I wanted to talk about was the pure green window in this Q&A. 40 likes. Let's get it to 100. What up, Tron? Was it about rhythm shooting? I think it was. It was about rhythm shooting. Yeah, the post with Badge Plug. If I'm not mistaken, no, it wasn't Badge Plug, was it? No, it wasn't the one with Badge Plug. But I think it was rhythm shooting. Yeah. Okay. Let me make sure that's the right size before I share it with you guys. Yeah, that joint is huge. Pause. All right, man. This is one of the first things that I found interesting because right here, you guys are seeing on screen. Joint is crazy. It's crazy what 2K be doing. But you guys are seeing on screen, Mike Wang. This was in August of 23, 2 years ago. Yes, the green window is pure. Hey, appreciate you watching, CMW. Salute. But he starts off the post saying the green windows are pure. Yes, the green windows are pure. But he markets to us this year that they're really pure now. He told us 2 years ago the green windows are pure. I'll let it continue on. But they weren't pure back then. And NBA 2K26 is supposed to be the first time in 2K history that we actually have pure green windows. And I'll break it down what that means and the differences between what he said back then and what he means by the pure green window for 26. Can we get an explanation on the differences between then and now is what Yoli had sent to Mike Wang. And he posted this image here with replying to Badge Plug. Badge Plug said, does shooting have a pure green window in 24 like in 2K19? If you had a certain rating plus jump shot timing, the shot right meant it will always green if open. Mike responded, and this is going into 2K24. Mike responded saying, yes, the green window is pure and will be guaranteed make if you hit. Heavily contested shots may still look like full white misses, but that's just an artifact of the art. There will always be a possible, in parentheses, he says, possibly a sub-pixel size green window on every single shot attempt. But there's something that he didn't tell us back then. He was talking about the middle of the green window is pure, which he should have clarified way back then when people were concerned on whether or not it's a pure green window. He responds, Mike Wang ended up responding, saying the center of the green window in 2K19 and 2K24 were pure. The center of the green window was pure. But we used RNG on the edges that lerped from 100 to 0 in the older 2Ks. This is why you saw your window kind of glitch past the green window. We all saw this and we all voiced our opinions on this, and they were met with silence as if we didn't know what we were talking about. I love to see this stuff come around full circle. Things that we've been complaining about end up having to come around full circle when 2K attempts to use this same stuff we were complaining about and say they fixed it and market 2K26 to us, saying that there's going to be a pure green window in NBA 2K26. What that means is now if you release anywhere inside the green window, it will be a make. Is if you slightly early, if you middle make, or you slightly late. This is part of the reason as to why the green windows are going to be much smaller, making it hella difficult for you guys to hit your shots in the beginning of the year before getting your attributes up and before getting your badges up. You know, people are saying, you know, the community has been asking to remove RNG from NBA 2K games, and where this is going to be the first time that we experience shooting without any level of RNG. It's one of those things. Be careful what you ask for type of thing. I don't know what 2K is going to do with that green window per se, but I have a feeling it's going to be really small, which is why if you hit anywhere within the green window, it would be considered a make. The idea and concept of slightly earlys and slightly lates are going to be removed from the game. It's green or miss. Excellent timing or miss. That should be the title of, because I don't think folks are fully accepting of that just yet. They're expecting to go into NBA 2K26 with the same grace that previous versions of 2K offered, with slightly earlys and slightly lates. A bit of grace there. I imagine when 2K Labs does their next video on the green window, you know, they showed the green window for rhythm shooting, and it was like a bell curve, a wide green window where it gave a lot of grace for slightly earlys and slightly lates. And then they showed the button shooting. Button shooting was a real small window in comparison to rhythm shooting. Green or miss means green or miss, yeah. Excellent or nothing. High risk, low risk, normal risk, completely out the game. No more. No more high risk, normal risk. Everybody is on the same playing field. Hell yeah, mad shooting complaints inbound for NBA 2K26. Hell yeah. But if I can offer my opinion on this, I think it's better for the community. I think it's better to create a skill gap. I think it's better that players like myself who like to go into the lab, spend a couple hours in the lab learning your jump shot timing and trying to master it through repetition. Those people who go into the lab and actually practice to play the game more competitively will now see better results from their investment, as opposed to 2K25, where I would spend hours in the lab only to have the worst shooting days in 2K history. Making all, you know, rendering all that lab work completely useless. There's complaints about the shooting every year, and that's facts. There's complaint about the shooting every single year. It's facts. All right, let's move on over into the next one that you guys may have missed. What was this one? You guys know about the L2 cheese, right? I think this was on this. The homie Ridiculous is in the chat right now, so I figured let's pull up the post that he responded to, and Mike Wang ended up responding to him. Let me pull it up first. Give me 1 second. I think it starts out with this post from Dimework. And they were talking about, can you explain how the rhythm shooting works? Can I still green a shot with early or late timing? So if you guys haven't heard, in rhythm shooting, there's like a whole new way to rhythm shoot, and is now set in two separate parts. Let's say you got a defender closing out on you, like a defender chasing you, but you want a rhythm shoot. You can very quickly flick the stick down to go into start your animation quickly, and then use the tempo portion of rhythm shooting to make up, for that quick speed, slowing it down on your tempo or timing your tempo correctly. Mo Lejean with a 199 super chat said, now everyone is going to benefit from getting 2K Labs. Salute for saying that. And by the way, you guys are definitely going to want NBA 2K Labs this year with a pure green window. They're going to give you the percentages for every single base. That's what 2K Labs does. They're really good at that testing stuff. And if you guys want to save 20% when you sign up for 2K Labs to get that 2K insider information and start getting ahead of the pack right now, use promo code AllCity and you can save yourself that 20%. So that was the question, with rhythm shooting, just letting you guys know that it's playing out in two separate parts. Dimework says, does this work in the same way for pull-up jump shots or leaners? So I can basically initiate a pull-up, have the defender jump, hang, and release on the way down, pretty much is what he's saying. Are you guys keeping up with what he's referencing? Because what they're saying is, it doesn't necessarily have to be, at the peak of your jump shot. As long as you're keeping the tempo correct, you can still hit that shot, is what they're getting at. But Dimework is proposing the idea that he could jump quick. And you know how, if a defender is jumping to you, you might want to hold that shot longer or even maneuver slightly to get the shot up. That's the idea that Dimework is proposing, almost like real life gameplay, which is what you guys could imagine, how you adjust your shot mid-air. Mike Wang says, yes, but the longer you hang, the more precise you have to be with your tempo to make the shot. And we put a ceiling on how long you can hold the set point before the shooting motion automatically starts for visual reasons. So it's not going to be exactly like real life because the shooting motion has to actually happen, which means you have to start your tempo motion at some point. So they put a ceiling on that. He talks about that Jordan flu gameplay. Now we're going to get into the second post from Ridiculous. Let me pull that up. This is the second part of this post on rhythm shooting. Ridiculous said, my guess is, with everything I've read and his responses, only advantage rhythm shooting will have now is the ability to speed up your jumper through the stick based on situations. And that's what Dimework was proposing. And Mike Wang says, it's also really helpful if you have bad internet and unpredictable latency. And I found this really interesting because if you have to hit a green window, and this is what makes me think that we're going to see another version of 2K that's forcing players or pushing players, nudging players toward rhythm shooting. If you have bad internet or unpredictable latency while you're playing NBA 2K games, the only way to combat that is with a larger green window. If you're gonna be, what do you guys get what I'm saying? What he's saying is, in other words, if your joint has high latency, then you're seeing things a bit later. A larger green window will help you hit those shots because they're still gonna hit, even though you're hitting late. It's still going within the green window timing. If it had nothing to do with that, then he wouldn't have referenced the idea that rhythm shooting is going to be a better option for players who have bad internet or unpredictable latency. That's the only thing that I could come up with. Looking at that, I'm saying, hold on a second. And Mike Wang did mention again that rhythm shooting is going to be better. He did mention that again in the Courtside Report when he did the verbal Courtside Report. I think that's what Mike Wang's saying. What do you think what Mike Wang's saying? Ridiculous? I see it like How else could it be helpful for you? If shooting was the same through, tempo, rhythm shooting, or button shooting, if it's the same, which is what I imagine you're proposing, that there's not going to be differences in your green window now. I imagine that's what you're proposing by saying, my guess is with everything I've read and his responses, only advantage to rhythm shooting that would have now is the ability to speed up your jump shot, where the advantage to rhythm shooting in 2K25 was a much larger green window. In NBA 2K26, from the stuff that we're reading, they haven't mentioned anything about the sizes of the green window outside of Mike Wang saying, well, if you have that rhythm shooting in 2K26 is really helpful if you have bad internet or unpredictable latency. If you have a tiny green window and you have bad internet and unpredictable latency, then you're definitely not going to hit that tiny green window. The only way it could be helpful, because push timing can white. That's interesting. He said, Ridiculous said, because push timing can white. He didn't say that. Push timing can white in 2K25. They don't say anything about push timing whites in NBA 2K26. As of yet, they haven't said that. They only mentioned that in higher difficulty game modes is going to be green or miss. Will the push timing, rhythm shooting allow for whites to go in NBA 2K26 as well? That sounds crazy. When somebody sees, how players are gonna spaz when they see a white going in and they're playing in the pro-am. They're gonna spaz. I hate rhythm shooting. I don't know why they're trying to make us. I don't like rhythm shooting either. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, send it to me, Ridiculous. I would love to see it. Mike is just trying to push people to rhythm shooting. He sure is. I'm getting into 2K for the first time since 19, and I'm horrified at this point. I hope it's a decent year. It does sound like a decent year, but 2K can make any year sound like a decent year. They can make 2K18. They could bring back 2K18 next year, and they'll still make it sound amazing. Where does defense stand in the midst of all this? Sound like they land people hit crazy shots this year. No, you might be mistaken. Rhythm shooting is tempo and button is timing. Gotta look at it that way. Be right back. Yeah, definitely. I understand. I get it. It's just the concept of whites going in with rhythm shooting. Oh, and button is timing. Yeah. What up, Andrew Vega? I may have to try rhythm shooting if it works. I'm going to have to try rhythm shooting. I'm going to have to get into it. I started practicing towards the end of 2K25, but we're going to move on while the good homie tries to find that post about whites going in with rhythm shooting. So if you're a rhythm shooter, Ridiculous thinks that whites may go in no matter the game mode that you're playing in. But from what I've read and what I've learned so far, to me, it seems like if you're playing in a particular game mode where whites don't go in, even with rhythm shooting, you're not going to make whites. We'll see what happens. We'll try to get a conclusion on that. Let's move on to the next one, the L2 cheesing. The L2, send it to your X DM. Thank you, Ridiculous. I'll check it out. Let me pull up the next one. It's the L2 cheese one. Here we go. There's an interesting one as well. Y'all gonna find this interesting too. Power DF said, what's up, everyone? Wondering, has anything been done about the L2 cheesing in NBA 2K26? A previous post. Did you make any changes to address the L2 exploits on twos, where one player posts up to trap the guard defender and create a free shot? Mike Wang ends up responding, saying, we made the ball extremely vulnerable to steals when posting up from far from the rim to mitigate the L2 cheese. And they also messed with dexing, by the way. So, those people who are running, the guards who are running back and forth, they completely eliminated it. I didn't think it was going to last long, but they completely eliminated the L2 cheese from what they're saying. Do you guys know what the L2 cheese is? You got the sensor at the 3-point line holding L2 While the point guard, because in NBA 2K25, you run so much faster off ball than you do with the ball in your hand. Point guard said, well, I'll just give it up to the center. You can't rip the center when he's in L2 for some strange reason on NBA 2K25. Even though it got zero ball handle, you can't rip him soon as he goes into L2. He's at the three-point line, holding L2, waiting for his point guard to dex the defender. He's wide open for easy three. So 2K, they messed with the dexing. They slowed it down. So now you guys are going to lose an adrenaline bar for dexing. I think that's what they said. I'm almost certain. I have it here. Let me make sure. Before I say something wrong, I have it right here. L2 dexing. It says, we've made efforts to reduce the unrealistic motion/cuts that result from dexing. Attempting to use dexing to cut back and forth repeatedly will consume adrenaline. That's what they said about dexing. Imagine they want you to green. Imagine they want you to green a pass. Act like that's not on their radar already for next year, Fear God. What up, Mikey? What's good, bro? Act like that's not on their radar already. But the idea that they made, holding L2 for centers, the ball is going to be more vulnerable if you're, away from the rim. I think that's a good thing. And it's definitely going to, mitigate the L2 cheese. And I'm surprised that they chose the word mitigate. They should have, if they did it correctly, it should eliminate the L2 cheese. It really should eliminate the L2 cheese. That's my thoughts on it. Stun ball handlers. I feel like the centers shot better than the guard. You ain't lying. There were instances where I felt like that too. Centers out here shooting with a 76 3 ball consistently. It was so weird. It was like the free throws being the hardest shot in the game to green. It was just so weird. Stun ball handlers, y'all. We're going to get into stun ball handlers. There we go. The question that needs to be answered was so frustrating the whole year of 2K25. The offense getting the loose ball all the time. 50-50 balls going back to the offense. Small guards going up on big centers, making a real poor choice to do a layup on a gigantic center. There's a contest from the center. The center comes down after making that contest and gets put into a whole stunned animation as if he's 600 pounds landing after that jump. That leaves that same point guard who made the poor decision to get the ball right back and reset the offense. Ball handlers will be stunned for a moment when they get the ball poked away from them, and bigs will play a slight stumble if they're heavily contested, blocked under the rim to give the defense an edge in recovering the 50-50 ball. If you guys don't know, it happened mid-year in NBA 2K25 where they started stunning the players so that they wouldn't get the ball back. And they executed that fairly well. We noticed the stun ASAP, and the defense was able to recover the rock. So all of a sudden you slow as hell to react. Yeah. They did it. They did it in NBA 2K25, and they intend to double down on that in NBA 2K26. There's a counter to this, y'all. I don't know if you heard about the quick protect yet. If you're new, you haven't heard about any of this information. I got tons of information already on my channel covering everything, every new feature in NBA 2K26. We're just here giving more updates as we get more information right now on this live stream. But, ball handlers got options now. They can quickly protect the rock with a button cue. So that's a good option, evading, the spammers out there. That's a good thing. Dynamic green window adjustments they talk about. Mo Lejean with a $4.99 super chat said, this 2K will change a lot on the competitive scene. Every year players find a way to cheese. I think the quick protect will be a cheese. Matter of fact, I'm glad we're still on the topic of quick protect, because I was thinking the same thing. I got to start running with the Discord for sure. Hell yeah, Jamaican, come on out. We'd love to have you come out. But I was thinking that too, because there's two ways to use the ball protect, or the quick protect. I think that's what it's called. Let me pull it up. Quick protect. There we go. Matter of fact, I'll put it up on screen. Oh, that matter of fact, that's the Q&A on quick protect. But you press a button to quickly protect the rock when players are spamming in front of you, and he'll put the ball a shoulder between the defender to protect the rock. So the ball is on the opposite side of the defender spamming. But the second way in which you can use that quick protect mechanic that 2K is adding to NBA 2K26 is while you're driving and the defender's behind you. You know how goofy it is in NBA 2K25? Well, now while you're driving, similar to how Luka plays, you can now hit L2 and it'll decelerate your player, forcing the defender that's behind you to get locked onto your hip. And then you work from there. That's how they described it. But they gave the idea that it's like the way in which Luka plays now, real life. So they're saying that should be beneficial for players on 2K. If that quick protect gives you the hop back, like LeBron hop back, it's definitely going to be cheesed. Yeah, I'm wondering about that. What type of quick protect does that mean? I could see players, finding a way to cheese that quick protect. Like you said, if you did get a little hop and then transition that into another dribble animation, I could see that happening as well. Honduran said, exactly, City. I hate that ish. I think I'm going to be a small forward 2K20. I think that's a safe bet. The way CP3 played. There you go. Oh my God, Zen on rebounds. I think we covered. Now we do got the Q&As. Spanish Jose with the 199 super chat. Did I get you your mod back? I don't know if you got your mod back, but let me see if I could make sure. Yeah, you got the mod. I see the wrench. Well, so appreciate the 199 super chat. I said 2K27. We'll have to time our dribbles. I ain't gonna front. 2K25 is like that. If you hit the lab long enough, you realize that you can, switch the momentum of your dribbles. Timing your dribbles correctly you can go from slow to fast animations. What up, Reggie Noble? Hope there's a way to vote a player selling in the rec. That's one thing they haven't addressed. I don't know if they can address it, but yeah, that's facts. I would like to see them talk some more about that. People selling in the rec, selling is subjective. So, one person might just be having fun and you straight get cut off because you're out there having fun and you don't even know you're selling. so I think it's subjective, but they got to find ways that, if you're standing out of bounds in that way selling, or, you get a real poor teammate grade a lot quicker. They got to find the solution for that. Mo Lejean with a 199 super chat said, this is going to result in lots of fouls, to be honest. He's talking about the quick protect joint. I imagine that as well. Alex Brown said, man, is it safe in here? These YNs about to fight each other over the green rebounds. Why are folks so concerned? Over the green rebounds? Joint is irrelevant. Like it's the most irrelevant feature that they've added to the game. I like to run center. I like to play center. So I'm thinking like, that ain't gonna help me none. Good centers already know. Good centers already could tell by the shot trajectory what side of that rim, the ball's gonna bounce. Like what side is gonna likely bounce off. Shai said, y'all would hate that vote out mechanic. It sounds good, but in practice, y'all would hate it. I think so too. I think it. What I would like to see is that the players, so say we're on a team of 5, we go into the rec center. I would really like to see 2K give us the option to exit if one of our players got error coded. It's a 5-man game. And if we're going in there strategically, expecting to run a certain way, for instance, say a zone, and then we get an AI, we have to completely switch our strategy because the AI is not playing the same way that we anticipate going into a 5v5 game. So I think the second that someone gets error coded, they need to give those remaining players an option to get out the game without penalty. They need to better define what error code means. These things have code. What always bothers me about this stuff, Hall of Fame Bills in the building. What up, True? In NBA 2K26, I'm hitting 50K subs, going hard. Hell yeah, you hit 50K for sure. And I wish you the best of luck with that, by the way. But we definitely need to be able to have that option to exit out the game. I don't want to play with or against AIs, period, ever. I don't ever want to play against them or with them. So I would like to see an option for us to get out the game. And like I said, these things have error codes. There's a code that should say what happened, why you're no longer in the game. For some reason, 2K hasn't gone in to better define these codes, because sometimes we get error coded and then receive a ban warning or even a ban. Mola Jean with a 199 super chat said, knowing 2K, they might F it up. They have to execute. They definitely have to execute. It's past due time. Jamaican, bro, they just got to do better. No NBA player getting 3 seconds in the paint, then a 5-second out of bounds. That's a combo for immediate kick, or ask the team to vote at that time. They need to find something, especially out there playing with randoms. The random experience got to be a nightmare. I couldn't even imagine. They need to stop giving us AI and mess the whole game up. Yeah, facts. I feel the same way, Quill. I feel the only way for the vote to kick in the rec would work is if all 4 teammates vote for it. That makes sense. That could work. The thing is, I don't like the idea. Like I said, it's subjective. So this dude might be on the court having hella fun, and then it might turn off his whole experience if he's having hella fun, and then a pop-up comes up a screen saying your teammates kicked you out. Oh, man, that would be crazy. 2K should allow us to take a win if it's only 1 or 2 rec warriors or rec players left in the game. Yeah, I like that idea too. If we're playing a game, and this often happens with us, we're in the game and we end up playing against 3 to 4 AIs. And it's like, damn, we're doing our best to get this man to quit already. Like, if you stay in there with 4 AIs, you are not, when you're playing against us, you're not going to have no fun, 0 fun for you. You better get up out that game. So we do our best to make sure that man gets up out of there as quickly as possible. Either we trying to grade him out, or like I said, he's not having no fun. So why stay in? Not going to get no rep. 1 man having fun and 4 guys aren't selling. Yeah, I mean, just is what it is. That's what I'm saying. Getting kicked all because he's 11. You feel what I'm saying, Joshua? Like people aren't taking that into consideration. Like, the kid is 11 years old. and he knows nothing about basketball. And he's just trying to get on 2K and have fun. He's clueless. I know it sucks for the players that are on there, but that's what comes with random rec. But I understand what you're referencing. The people who are intentionally selling, the people who are intentionally trolling, there's got to be the way to get them out. I get that. I'm not acting ignorant like I don't know what you're talking about. We've loaded up to face 5 AIs in proving grounds before, is what Red said, and they made us play it out. Imagine you going crazy and the error pop up, whole team voted you out. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Let's talk about some more stuff. I'm going to pull up the Q&As. The contest system. That was interesting. Let me pull it up. I was going to just read it off, but let me pull it up. I read it off in the video and I pulled it up in the video, but we'll pull it up here. Okay. 328 in the chat. Appreciate y'all being here. Salute. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Are there any changes to the contest system? Mike Wang answers, there have been a number of changes to the contest system logic. We've rebalanced the effectiveness of hands up. Hands up was terrible in NBA 2K25. They rebalanced the effectiveness of no jump contests and jumping contests to better reflect how shots are impacted in real life. We're also showing coverage percentages and full shot feedback again. What up, Rome? 24 bots were good. But did y'all hear that? We are now getting the percentage coverages. So now we can start factoring in, well, if this man's from this distance and he jumps depending on his attributes, defensive ratings, I'll have this percentage of a contest. My shot is being affected by this much. Good stuff. Good stuff. I love to see that, but that's under the full shot feedback. So if you have it on simple, you may not be getting that feedback. If you have it on full shot feedback, then you'll get that percentage, which I love. What up, Slat? No more RNG and shooting. Hopefully you guys heard about that. Have you guys heard about no more RNG and shooting? We talked about that in the beginning. High risk, high reward, high risk, low risk, normal risk. All of that is gone. 2K is putting everybody on the same playing field. No more RNG and shooting, which means you're going to have for the first time in 2K history, have a pure green window. The joint is going to stay static. This means that if you're in the lab, through repetitions, you can master your shot and hit your shot every time it lands in the green window. AI in the rec needs to be the NBA players. Jamaica City, how many cap breakers do you think we're getting? I think there's going to be more ways to get cap breakers in NBA 2K26. I'm not sure where 2K's head is at. If they're going to offer that, if they're going to focus on player engagement, then they might put some of these cap breakers in events. Or they're going to focus on, getting that bread. They're going to put them in pro passes and Hall of Fame passes. I don't know. It's not supposed to be player advantages in those things, but 2K might throw that out the window. People back down to 18% from 3. No more RNG and shooting is all I need to hear. So, facts. I feel you. That's what I'm most excited about, too. I'm most excited about the pure green window, y'all. That's what has me, I come in, especially after 25. This year was so frustrating to play the entire year. It feels like it was a bad dream. 2K25 feels like a bad dream. Like, I can't believe we got through the whole entire year. To me, it's going to go down as one of the worst 2Ks. It's right there with 18 and 21. And that's mainly because of the inconsistencies. That's why, because if it was consistent, I would rank it way higher. But because of the inconsistencies and all the fluky stuff, error codes and lack of physics for the ball and players, it made it seem like just a failed project, in my opinion. Love the new catch and shoot. Facts. New catch and shoot mechanics. So now if you're holding the left trigger, in 25, you never know when you catch and shoot. Although we had the option to hold the left trigger and go into that setup animation. You'll see your players, better players will hold that left trigger to go into that setup animation. But even still, with the setup, there were times where even if you set up, you'll still dip the ball down before you go to take your shot. Well, NBA 2K26, they're proposing that if you're setting up, that it's automatically going to take it from your chest area where you catch the rock right into a jump shot animation. It looked good. They showed clips of it in the Courtside report, and it looks good. It looks like they understand what they're talking about. 18 worst, 22nd, 21 is the second worst, and 25 is the third worst, in my opinion. And I probably label it the same way. Feelings on custom layups going to be tough, especially for taller players. Alex Brown was talking about the custom layups. I love the idea. I love that now we can customize our layup package. Before, we used to have to choose a layup package, and there were certain animations within that layup package that I didn't necessarily want even on my player at all. I didn't want to activate these animations at all. Now we get to choose, and we get to set up a layup package very similar to how we set up dunk packages. And you can choose your euro, your hop step, your spin move, your normal layup animation. You can choose that, but there's still going to be height and attribute restrictions placed on the layup animations. They'll only unlock if you meet those requirements, both height and attributes. So that kind of answered the question on whether there's going to be height cap restrictions and attribute restrictions in NBA 2K26. That's definitely coming back. My favorite takeaway from today, hands down, is the pure green window, because it speaks volumes about everything else. 2K deciding, Mike Wang, he mentioned once before that dribbling and shooting, those are his two babies. And he has been working over the last few years to take shooting to where it got in NBA 2K25. And in my opinion, it was the absolute worst shooting period ever. So to me, what that's saying is that he understands that the players didn't receive it well, even though that was his project. Shooting is his project, his baby, along with dribbling. That's what I imagine if you describe it in that way as an engineer, this is what you invest a lot of your effort into. I imagine if you're an engineer and you say, well, that's my baby, you invest a lot of yourself into that. And for him to humble himself and make an extreme drastic change to an absolute pure green window for the first time in 2K history. You guys may have heard that we had a pure green window in previous 2Ks, but Mike Wang described that in previous 2Ks, he mentioned only the middle of the green window was pure, which is absolute insanity to me, because if someone hits the middle of a green window, how isn't that going to be pure? Just, the frame of logic that they be using is so silly. Tron with a $4.99 super chat says, City always reads super chats. Share your comments with the chat. Check out the new merch. Yeah, just type !merch. Appreciate that, Tron. Salute, brother. But yeah, matter of fact, the new merch, I already ordered some. It's on the way. We're setting up for 2K26. Make sure we got the new merch. I got jerseys and shirts. This is dope stuff, but neither here nor there. They proposed this idea that hitting the middle of the make in 2K19 was pure. Of course it's going to be pure. Your excellent timing, your green window, your shot. How wouldn't it be pure if it hit? Were you telling me you're going to hit the middle of your green window and not make the shot? So what he ended up explaining was, what Mike Wang ended up explaining was that in the older versions of 2K, although the middle of the green window was pure, the late and early edges were not pure, and it was RNG involved in the early and late edges of the green window. So for NBA 2K26, the window is going to be absolutely pure, meaning that if you hit anywhere in that green window, it's going in. It's going to excellent. My takeaway from that is that there's going to be very little grace. There's going to be very tiny early and late edges of the green window. And I have a feeling that 2K Labs is going to run tests on this stuff and find out the same thing. You guys mark my words. I'd be super surprised if 2K gives us grace with a larger green window in NBA 2K26. I'd be super surprised. Mike Wang needs to stop false advertising. But don't you think it's still going to be random, because you have to flick the stick in a certain direction for layups to fire off? Those post moves, go-tos, and slow down Euros getting blocked. There's certain instances to use it properly. The folks who know, like when they told me about the slow down Euros, I counted that as a W, because there's plenty of instances where, you got the chase down. You're on fast breaks. I'm thinking more fast breaks, not like in a set half court set defense or offense. So not going up against a half court defense is what I'm referring to. But in a fast break situation where the defender's trailing behind you and he's running you down for a chase down block, you trigger that Euro. And I could see that. Or, for instance, you got a defender already in there, and he's at the foul line. You Euro past that one, decelerate while somebody's coming for the chase down. You know how they do. Everybody crash. Try to play hero ball, and they just jump right past you. So I could see that working. The post move, go-to shots, not so much. I think that's just more hand-holding for big men. They're going to go into the shimmy, and they're going to be getting blocked as well. Go-to shots were getting blocked left and right, period. He says, I'm blocking weak layups to Antarctica. Remember in 2K19, we could shove people. I remember that. Yep. Mad people be always using turbo. Yeah. My only thing is that they did it against the CPU and it could be different against real players. Yeah, it could be. It could be. But, you know, the thing with the finishing logic in 2K games compared to where it is now used to be great. I had no idea that they were going to take it downhill and throw it off a cliff, for that matter. That's how it is in 2K25. It took finishing the mechanics that they once had, comparing it to 2K25 is like taking everything they had and just launching it off a cliff. That's how it felt. In 2K25, you set up breaking down your defender to take a drive, putting your defender on the opposite side of the ball. Your whole lane is wide, and you go up with your left hand if you're driving towards the left side. If you go up with your right hand, in previous versions of 2K, that was a block. If you went up with your left hand in previous versions of 2K where finishing was elite, it was more success, more opportunity to convert. In NBA 2K25, no matter which hand you chose, everything was random. If you put the defender between your body and the ball, he still get a block on you like it didn't matter. The strategy and skill behind finishing was just, like I said, thrown off a cliff, out the 14th floor window. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see improved finishing. Layup protect should make those unrealistic chase downs history. That's that quick protect option that you get when you're driving to the rack. I hear how we can't drive baseline. Yeah, baseline irrelevant. They didn't mention anything about baseline. I'm curious about that as well. Why are 80% of 3-ball misses ended up in a deep rebound? When can we see more big men and with putback mechanics? I would like to see that too. I definitely would. You have like guards like myself jumping out the gym to get a putback animation. And then you got centers there and they can't get a decent putback animation. They make them so unathletic. So we was wondering if flashy passes were gone, Alex Brown, because it's been replaced now. If you double tap circle, which you normally get a flashy pass, now you're going to get a wrap pass. So I don't know if they just moved flashy passes around to a different button queue, but now you have an option to actually queue up a wrap pass the defender. They showed it in the courtside report. They better let them big men get dunked on this year, for real. They're actually saying the exact opposite. They're saying the presence of a big man is going to be felt in the paint with improved collisions mid-air. And to me, that sounds like, if they're talking about improved collisions, referencing defense in the paint, that sounds to me like they're going to be taking a lot of slashers out of their contact dunk animations and putting them into layup animations, which is why they're attempting to push this new customized layup feature. I don't think they worked on that finishing as they should. I'd be surprised. I'd love to see finishing come back to the way it was at the very least. I thought so as well. Taish said the dribbling, or Taish, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the dribbling they showed looked absolutely terrible. I thought the same thing. I said it was reminiscent of 2K25. Now, they are proposing that in NBA 2K26, the gameplay speed is supposed to be much faster. Like I said, they know exactly, like I said earlier, if you're just tuning in, I mentioned this earlier, they know exactly what to tell you. They know all of your concerns, because at the end of every single courtside report in NBA 2K25, they sent out community surveys, and you guys filled out these community surveys and shared everything that frustrated you about the game. So they know how to market to us and tell us what's going to be fixed or what's going to be addressed. But I don't think it's in 2K's best interest to attempt to finesse us any longer. I just don't think it's in their... I don't think it's right for them. I don't think they realize how far on edge the community has gotten over the last 5 years. So hopefully, you know, they're speaking truth in what they're delivering here during this marketing phase, and they can execute that stuff so that players on the game, players who get on, can see a difference between NBA 2K25 and NBA 2K26. We don't want to see NBA 2K25.2. We're done. They said gameplay is just as bad as dribbling. As dribbling last year. I don't know. We got to wait and see. It looks like it. What about perimeter and interior defense? They didn't say much outside of the collisions and, you know, interior defense feeling the presence. They also talked about screens. They talked about screens being improved. There's an improved screen logic where now, you know how if you're playing the big man, you used to be able to kind of you used to set the screen and be faced the completely wrong direction, and it was hard to make those minor adjustments. Well, in NBA 2K26, you can make 45-degree type adjustments and even flip 180. If you just flick your stick the opposite direction, you can flip 180 degrees, and you'll be facing the right direction for a screen. Half-ass, all the mechanics seem as if they need to go back to October release dates. They're adding too much animation and too much overrated, unnecessary-ish. I'm in a complete agreement. I'm hoping that they can execute this stuff. This could push the community towards, and Bear said this could push the community towards NCAA ball from EA. Now, you know, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble here, but EA has not fully gotten the licensing. They've only gotten a recommendation from the college licensing company. 2K is working behind the scenes, talking directly to conferences, trying to slow down this deal with EA and trying to take over to the point that they've offered a new proposal and are now trying to persuade conferences with a 2027 release from 2K. I'll keep you guys posted on that. As soon as we get more information on that, I'll share it with y'all. It should play smoother. Hopefully, they add a bunch of ineffective pro play animations that nobody uses. No demo. Demo is out. That's not happening. 324 in the chat. Salute. Appreciate y'all. Bring NBA Streets back. We covered everything so far that we know about NBA 2K26. I even dove into Mike Wang's posts and pulled out some more information. He did a whole Q&A. We covered that during this live stream, and I just uploaded a video on my channel discussing all the Q&A questions and answers. You guys could check that out. I just uploaded it before I started this live stream. If you guys are tired of running with randoms, or you want to start building some chemistry with players now leading up into NBA 2K26, you guys want an opportunity to run with me or any member of the All City crew, I highly recommend you join our Discord. There's over 33,000 members in our Discord, and all of you guys are welcome. Everybody that's in here, you're welcome to join. It's free. If you would like to run with me, there's 2 ways to make that happen. You got to get onto the Rec Warriors. Within our Rec Warriors program, there's over 33,000 members in our Discord, but our Rec Warriors program has about 300 members. There's 2 ways to get in. You can subscribe to our Discord and support our platform and what we do, and you'll get instant access to the Rec Warriors as an incentive, instant access to the entry level of Rec Warriors. There's levels to this stuff, and I run with all Rec Warriors. You could come right into the party chat that we're in. Or you can wait for tryouts if you don't want to support what we do, or you can't support what we do. It's understandable. You can wait for tryouts, and through tryouts, if you shine through your gameplay, you'll get added into the Rec Orders. I highly recommend that you guys join our community. Non-toxic, only positive vibes. If you're on that type of time, come on out. We'd love to have you, man. On that note, we covered everything, y'all. As soon as we get more information, I'll be going live sporadically over the next couple of days. Whenever we get information, boom. If it's enough to cover our live stream, I'll go live. And I'll definitely be keeping you guys up to date. So y'all consider dropping a like and a sub. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'll catch you guys on the next video or live. Easy, y'all.